Vă mulțumesc că ați venit. Mă bucur că văd în mijlocul nostru persoane pe care în mod normal nu le invităm la evenimentele noastre care sunt legate de televiziune. De data asta am făcut ceva care depășește, să spunem, granițele televiziunii. E un joc, este o demonstrație și este un eveniment în sine. Avem în mijlocul nostru o vedetă a unui program Discovery și despre evenimentul propriu-zis și cum se va derula el în cursul zilei de astăzi o să las pe el să vorbească. Dar până atunci aș vrea să spun că acest eveniment este dezvoltat împreună cu UPC România pentru că există o sinergie între companiile noastre atunci când vine vorba de inovație. Și înainte să-l invit pe Joel Lambert să vă povestească despre emisiunea care l-a făcut vedetă Discovery și despre evenimentul de astăzi, despre cursa de astăzi din București, aș vrea să o invit să vă spună câteva cuvinte din punctul de vedere al partenerului nostru, pe Ariana Badin, care este marketing și PR director la UPC România.
Mulțumesc, Ada. Bună ziua! Noi avem un parteneriat pe mai multe proiecte cu Discovery, întrucât ne regăsim în valorile și în conținutul de calitate pe care Discovery le promovează. Acest parteneriat a venit într-un mod firesc, iar acest proiect ne bucură cu atât mai mult cu cât prezintă ceva inovativ și unic până acum în România. Și după cum știm, noi cei de la UPC mizăm pe inovație și pe premiere. Am fost primii care am lansat conținut HD, televiziune digitală, 3D, internet de mare viteză și a fost într-un mod firesc că a venit și acest proiect. Credem în convergența dintre online și offline, în deciziile pe care le iei online să aibă repercursiuni offline și probabil va fi un trend care se va dezvolta din ce în ce mai mult în următorii ani. De aceea ne face plăcere să susținem acest proiect și să fim parteneri alături de Discovery. Mulțumesc frumos și mult succes!
Mulțumim foarte mult! Înainte să îl invit pe Joel în fața dumneavoastră, aș vrea să vă arătăm promo-ul de 30 de secunde al emisiunii Manhunt.
Against the world's elite tracking units.
Failure is not an option, and I'm gonna die before I quit.
Let's find this high-value target, and I want him now.
In the ultimate game of cat and mouse.
They're not prepared for this. This is my turf.
The hunt is on. Manhunt, part of survival season, premieres Sunday 2nd of March on Discovery Channel.
Can you tell us more about what this show is all about and how it is different from everything on television?
Sure. The show is, I am, with my background, I am piercing country securities. I'm crossing borders. I'm skydiving into places that I'm not supposed to be. I'm cutting through fences. I'm inserting by sea. I'm kind of breaking and entering into countries. Once I'm in, I set a signal. I survive. I evade. I do anti-tracking, which is techniques used to confuse tracking dogs, to confuse thermal imaging, to confuse human trackers on my trail. I do counter tracking. I set booby traps. I do things to turn it around back on them. And that country's special operations force or fugitive recovery team or specialty tracking unit or national police unit brings all their assets to bear. They bring helicopters, thermal imaging, drones, dog tracking teams, human tracking teams, vehicles to try to track me, block me in, capture me before I make it to my designated extract point, which is generally about 48 hours away. It's pretty intense.
So this first season has different locations. Where have it been filmed?
We were in Arizona, on the Arizona-Mexican border. I went against the Army's Phantom Recon tracking unit there. I went to Panama against Senafront, which is their anti-encounter drug unit, their elite counter-drug unit down there. I did South Africa, the IAPF, an amazing anti-poaching foundation led by an ex-SAS military commando. I went to South Korea, the Korean National Police. They have a SWAT team, FBI unit, national police unit that is very, very good and is some of the best technology in the world. I was in Poland, the Straż Graniczna, the elite border guards. I crossed from Ukraine into Poland. And the Philippines, the Philippine Army Scout Ranger Unit, which are some of the best jungle fighters in the world, bar none.
Were there a special reason why those locations were selected?
Yes. This first season, it was very difficult to put this together because it's genuine. It's an actual training mission against these units that are bringing everything to bear to try to capture me. So governments and militaries, they were very suspicious of a TV show's motivation and what it was going to look like and how it was going to play out. And so we had to find ones that were willing to participate. We also had to find ones that their schedules meshed with our availability to film, because these are operational units. They are fighting combat missions. They are actively guarding borders, and they don't really have a lot of time to do things like this. And then we worked really hard and put together the ones that were in exotic locations in some of the most harsh terrain in the world, and also the best ones we could find, the ones with a lot of pride, a lot of assets, and a lot of skill doing what it is that we do in the show.
It seems like the preparation for each mission was a big part of the show. We have a short clip from the show, but then I will want you to bring even more to our audience about what preparation for such a mission means.
Absolutely.
Every country has a force specifically designed to protect their homeland by hunting and capturing terrorists and criminals. Each of these Hunter Force agencies' readiness is going to be tested over a period of up to 48 hours.
He started to piss me off.
When they face one of their toughest challenges. Joel Lambert.
Let's go. Come on.
A former Navy SEAL and escape and evasion expert.
This is my turn, and I'm still in charge of this game.
Joel is among the most highly trained and skilled infiltrators these Hunter Forces have ever faced.
Son of a bitch.
Joel's mission is to travel around the world. If he can make it to his extraction point without being caught, he has won. To face off against some of the toughest units the world has to offer requires not just years of past combat and operational experience, but intensive preparation.
There is no possible way to stay in SEAL condition outside of the SEAL teams, and I've been out for 5 years. The environments I'm going to be going in and the situations I'm going to be in are going to be beyond brutal. I'm going to war.
Joel not only had to train physically, but he spent hours studying each Hunter Force to be as mentally prepared as possible.
I want to know everything I can about these guys that I'm going up against. I want to know what their assets are. I've also got maps of all the areas that I'm going to be. I need to plan my routes. And all of this information is going to help me come up with the best plan possible. And it's also going to provide me with all the knowledge I'm going to need when that plan goes to shit. Because it will. So I'm laying out a lot of the gear that I'm going to need out in the field. A long fixed blade is one of the essential things that you have in a survival situation. This, the Bontak, it's a weapon, it's a tool, lever. It's just a beautiful blade. And my favorite is the Syok Winkler Hawk. Aside from combat uses, this beak is perfect for skinning animals. If I were to need to kill something for food, a survival situation, I can use this as an improvised grappling hook. This, good monofilament fishing wire. This is good for tripwires, for setting booby traps. I don't know how it's going to turn out, but there's only one way to find out. I don't think the public has ever seen anything like this. What we're doing out there is real.
This
Hunter forces inbound.
is
I am at extract.
So, what else? What else?
What else?
Is there anything else?
There's always something else. You're never going to have enough time to prepare as much as I want to be able to prepare. Preparation is 9/10 of executing a mission. As much time as I can spend preparing, the more intimate I can be with the environment I'm going into, the more I can know about the Hunter Force, the more familiar I can be, the more these items of knowledge, whether it's about the environment, the Hunter Force, or the map that I'm going to be operating in, the less I have to think, the more I can operate on instinct, the more I can program my internal computer, I can react quickly instead of having to stop and think and pull things up. So the more preparation, the more practice, the more I can. It's like muscle memory when you're fighting or shooting or anything like that. Your body gets trained to think without thinking. And we can think with our heads, but your body will think as well if you let it. And the more I can put these things in so that I can think without thinking and I can be instinctive, the better I'm going to be. Because sometimes it comes down to those individual moments, and you have to act right then, right there.
How fit are you?
Not fit enough. That's exactly not fit enough. But it comes down to mental strength. It's mental conditioning that makes the difference. But if your body breaks under your mental conditioning, then that may cripple you. That may cripple your effectiveness. You're only always as strong as your weakest link. And that's true in a military unit. The weakest guy is going to be the sum of the strength he's going to bring the operational effectiveness down. And whatever I happen to have that's my weakest link, that's the highest level I'm going to be able to operate on. So mentally, I have to be strong. Physically, I have to be strong. And I'm 41 years old now. This is not like when I was doing it when I was 27. After one of these missions, I'm done for 2 weeks. I'm laying in bed. I can't think straight. I'm just kind of moaning and rolling around and watching TV because it takes everything. It takes the mental, it takes the physical, it takes the soul, it takes all of my training. It's pretty intense.
We have another clip from one of the shows that show how difficult and how dangerous it can get. Let's watch it and then talk about that.
This is good.
almost every country has a specialized military tracking unit trained to capture terrorists, guard borders, and hunt criminals. And now, they're about to face one of their toughest targets. Joel Lambert.
Let's go. Come on.
A former Navy SEAL and expert in escape and evasion, Joel's mission is to put them to the test. This time, Joel challenges Poland's elite border guard, the Straż Graniczna.
The situation is very changeable, so we have to moderate it according to the reports of the patrol.
I have a little bit of time, so I'm laying a deception trail through this nice high grass, showing these guys a direction that I don't really want to go. Go, let's go! Go!
Finally, Denzel is back on Joel's scent.
Widzę, patrz na odejście, nie? Quit shooting, let's fucking go! Fuck! Go! Keep moving! Come on! Puść organiczna! Come on! Too fucking short. God. my position. They know where I'm at. They're gonna be able to bring everything they've got to bear on me now and box me in. Dawaj! Go! Dawaj, dawaj! Tu mamy! Jest, dawaj! Stój, straż graniczna!
So
You'll have to watch.
it was very engaging to watch, even when I was not watching it from under the screen, when I was sitting in front of it. And what's the biggest risk you incurred during such a mission? Being caught is the biggest risk?
I guess that would depend on what you think is most important. Is it your pride? Is it your sense of honor? Is it your sense of what you're willing to risk for? I mean, this is a TV show, and it is a training mission and an exercise, and people use the word game, but it's not a game to me. I'm going out there with everything that I am and that I have, and these guys that are going against me are as well. And there is, I think, a lot of honor in that. And it's the demonstration of who we are as human beings, as warriors, as a brotherhood, as the people that protect your borders, as the people that hunt down terrorists and criminals. It's a very serious thing, and it's essential to the core of our being. And so there's a lot of bodily harm that comes to me. And there have been, in a couple of the episodes, choices that I made that I knew were life-threatening. I mean, they really were not smart if it comes to, protecting my life, limb, and eyesight. But there are other things that are more important, and that is being faithful to who we are and being faithful to what we're doing out there, and honoring who they are and what they do and who I am and what I do and the heritage I come from, the SEAL teams. I carry that with me on my back. That's the most powerful thing that drives my life, is the respect of my brothers and where I come from and who they are and the funerals that I've gone to and the trident that I wear on my chest. It's not something that I own. It's something that's bestowed on me and borrowed. And so the biggest risk to me is not giving it everything I've got and not living up to that and not leaving it all on the battlefield, win, lose, or draw. That's the biggest risk.
Well, that's sobering, and it puts you at odds sometimes with your filming crew, who don't come from the same.
Who they don't want to bleed. That's their biggest thing. They don't want to get hurt.
Yes, and filming such a show, it's a big challenge, and we have a clip about that, and then we'll talk about the ones who are not part of the team anymore.
Okay.
While the jungle is hard to operate in, it's almost impossible to shoot a TV show in.
I've been in thick, super thick jungle. And there's been times to where you get caught on a vine or your face ripped off by some plants, and all you want to do is scream and curse the person that put you in here.
This is crazy. I've almost broke my ankle like 3 times. This is no joke by far.
The heat index was over 115 degrees.
I've been in jungles around the world. This is by far the hottest and hardest to shoot.
You'd step outside and instantly you'd be sweating like crazy.
It felt like you were standing in a sauna wrapped in like a plastic bag.
That was the Philippines. It destroyed our crew.
Save the camera. But easy, man. Oh, jeez.
It destroyed our cameras.
My LCD screen is fried. I can't see anything through it.
We were an hour into the shoot, and we had already lost our first camera.
We're pulling out backup cameras. That's probably not going to last too long.
By noon, we had lost 3.
This is the cameraman's worst nightmare.
9th camera just went down. We've got it wrapped in rain gear. We've cut up umbrellas. We've tried everything to keep these cameras dry. If your cameras aren't working, you can't shoot a TV show. The heat, the humidity, the rain, it's just killing us. This is impossible.
So how did you work with the production crew?
Well, that up there, first off, the few injuries that you saw didn't even begin to cover the injuries that happened to the crew. I personally went through 3 different cameramen. The first guy, he quit. He never came back. He did the first episode, and we haven't heard from him since. He's not returning anybody's phone calls. The second guy got MRSA in his leg, that staph infection that's the really bad one in the hospitals, and he spent quite a while in the hospitals, couldn't walk for a while. And the third camera guy tore the rotator cuff completely off of the bone in his shoulder, and he's still having a lot of surgeries for that. There is an extreme cost to these guys. One of the producers got stabbed through the neck by a flying fish and almost killed. Who's ever heard of that in their life? I mean, he got stabbed 5 inches through the neck. They had to evacuate him out of the jungle, cut the other side of his neck, and pull this spine that was a centimeter away from his spinal cord out through the other side of his neck. 3 guys got attacked by Africanized killer bees in the jungle and went into anaphylactic shock. 2 of them were lost in the jungle. We had to stop down and find these guys. One of the producers got dengue fever, bone breaker fever, and that doesn't even go into all the stitches and broken things and all that sort of stuff. But what was the question?
Did you see them as part of your crew?
Yes. It's doing what I do in the military and this operation, this exercise, this training mission. It's at odds with shooting a TV show. The thing that turned me on to the show is that Discovery, instead of taking military operations and military missions and trying to squeeze them and fit them into the confines of a TV show, instead they let us do what we do. And then they desperately tried to keep up with cameras and sound guys. And so that's why all the injuries happened, and that's why all the craziness happened. But because of that, we've got something really genuine and really compelling and very intense. But for me, the difficult thing was learning how to take what I'm doing, which is completely at odds with shooting a TV show, and relate it to camera and become personable and actually take what I'm doing and talk about what I'm doing. And the camera guys, they're not used to being stealthy. And so they'd be just doing what they do and yelling and talking. And I'm like, shut up, dude, because they can give me away just as well as I'd give me away. And so it's been a battle. It's been a big battle. And I think after the first season, we've kind of figured out how to make it work and how to mesh those gears that are moving at 2 completely different speeds.
So the show starts on Discovery this Sunday. And whoever is interested, and I think a lot of people are right now, can watch it and see it and understand exactly what it means. But now that you are in Bucharest and we have this thing going to start soon.
Bucharest Manhunt.
The Bucharest Manhunt. Can you talk about it a little bit?
Well, this is very exciting. This is... what a concept. This is amazing. But what it is it's a game. This is not like one of the real missions that I did for the TV show. This is something that we can demonstrate the techniques, the tactics, the procedures that I used in the show, and they can understand a little bit about tracking and about pursuit and about the kinds of things that I'll be doing to throw people off my trail and to be playing that mental chess game. So what's going to happen is that I have a route. I'm starting right after this press conference, and it's going to last about 3 hours. I have an objective I have to get to, and I have some things I have to do along the way. That's all planned out. But I've got 3 teams that are going to be hunting me. One a military background, one a rescue background, and one a protection background. These teams are going to be directed by the fans, by the viewers online. They're going to be making choices every 5 minutes to direct their actions as they watch me move with a GPS icon throughout the city. So they'll be making choices. The hunter forces will be making their decisions based on the choices that the users are choosing online. If I make it to my objective, then I win. If the participants, the viewers online, direct the hunter forces correctly and intercept, then they win. But no matter what happens, everybody wins because there's some great prizes that are going to be given away, and you're going to get a taste of what it is that we do. It's going to be live streamed, so you'll see my perspective the entire time. You'll see the Hunter Force's perspective the entire time. You'll be able to direct them, and hopefully, well, not hopefully you won't catch me. Hopefully you mess this completely up.
So, how did you prepare for this one?
For this one, it's not a real mission. It's not a real operation. I'm limited. I have one route that I'm going to be moving on, and that's set in stone. And so the Hunter Forces are going to be directed by the people watching it. But nobody knows that route but myself. So I've done a map study. I have GPS. I know where I'm going. I know the points that I'm moving to. I have a few tricks. I'll show a few things, and I'll be talking along the way principles of stealth, concealment, evasion, going gray in a city. I think it's going to be pretty fascinating.
I think we have less than 10 minutes for questions from people in here.
What if they catch me? Then I blow myself up. No, if they catch me, then the winning team, the team that has caught me, the prizes will be divided up among the users online that were directing that team. If no teams catch me, then those prizes will be divided up by all the participants online. Everyone will be in the pool, and it will be a sweepstakes for the prizes.
Other questions? How do you go gray? You know.
Well, you're going to find out. Really, going gray we call it going gray in an urban environment, but it's the same thing in any environment that you find yourself in. You take the natural vegetation, the surroundings that you're in, and you blend yourself into those, whether it's colors of your clothing, whether it's painting your face, whether it's taking natural vegetation and putting it all over your clothes so that you look like a bush. The principles will be different in a city because it's an urban environment, and the principles are the same, the execution is different, and that's what I'm going to be talking about as we move through the city today.
Other questions?
What did I eat today? I had eggs, bacon, and a little bit of yogurt. But that's a good question, because when I'm doing a real world hunt, we are predators. We have evolved to hunt. And when you're in the field, when you get a little hunger, your senses sharpen. Your eyesight gets focused. Your hearing gets better. You get that predator sense in yourself. So I don't like to be satiated. I don't like to have a full belly. I like to stay hungry, because that makes me meaner, and it makes me focused, and it makes me a little bit more aggressive. It's in all of us. When I'm sitting around here and I get hungry, I just get grumpy. But if I'm out in the woods and I'm being hunted, it changes, and you turn into a little bit of the predators that we evolved to be.
And what is the awkward thing you eat in the jungle?
I'm sorry, what was that about?
Awkward.
Oh, the awkward scene?
The strangest things.
Oh, the strangest things I've ate? Okay. Well, that's a good question. In the jungle. I'll get to that. In a survival situation, like in some of the other survival shows that you see, what makes this show different is that I don't have the luxury of time. I'm forced to move. I have to evade. So in order to get food or water, that costs time. That costs energy. So I can't do that. I have to take what's called targets of opportunity. If I find something, I take it and I eat it. I never pass up an opportunity to get water or food. In South Africa, I ate termites because I could grab a little bit of a termite mound and just pick them out as I moved. In Arizona, there were huge grasshoppers. So if I saw one, I just snag it and suck them down as I cruised along. But in the jungle has a lot of food. It has a lot of water. In one of the episodes, I got really lucky, and just a couple hours into it, I came across about a 3-meter boa constrictor. And so I chopped off his head and stuck him in my backpack, and I had a little bit of dinner that night.
Last question. Last chance.
That's another very good question. Yeah, and with myself, the tactics that I'm showing are not operational tactical techniques and procedures. What I'm doing here is not at all what I would do on a SEAL operation or what my brothers are doing out there. This is an escape and evasion scenario. So most of what I'm revealing, hunters know. These are tracking principles. These are counter-tracking principles. When I build a booby trap, the whole thing isn't shown. I don't show the trigger mechanism. It's not going to be replicable based on what I show. And the principles that I'm showing about evasion and about well, just thinking tactically and strategy. They're not specific tactics. I would never reveal specific tactics that are currently in use. Some of the other hunter forces, what they're revealing is stuff that they want to show. This is tracking stuff. They're not going to show anything, or if it does get shown, it's not going to be a part of the TV show if it's sensitive. Our priorities are to our brotherhoods, and we would never violate that trust.
So thank you very much. Thank you, Joel, for being here. I think it's a great opportunity, and thank you for playing with us.
It's going to be fun.